Welcome to Gamebridge Fieldhouse and this year's IHSAA Boys Basketball State Finals, presented by the Indiana Pacers and the Indiana Fever. I'm Rick Fuson, CEO of Pacer Sports Entertainment. I'd like to welcome all the students, teams, and families who have worked so hard to get to the state finals. The Pacers and the Fever are proud to support the student athletes in the state of Indiana and their quest for a championship. On behalf of the IHSAA, Indiana Pacers, and Indiana Fever, good luck to all the teams.
Separate the Providence Pioneers and Central Noble Cougars. But this afternoon from Gamebridge Fieldhouse, two schools from two ends of the state come together to each experience their first state championship appearance in school history. The IHSAA Class 2A State Championship game is presented by the Indiana Pacers and Indiana Fever. And we welcome you inside the broadcast booth alongside Jan Bozier. I'm Pat Boylan. Well, we got our work cut out for us after that 1A state championship game. It is Cinderella Saturday. 6 of the 8 teams who are here today are making their first state championship appearance. And we've got 2 schools making their first year in the 2A state finals.
You know, both teams have worked so hard to get here. So many things have to go right to get here. And I tell you, I thought this may be the classic. Maybe we'll have 2 classics back to back.
We'll see. That would certainly be a great way to tip off our coverage here from Gamebridge Fieldhouse on Valley Sports Indiana. Let's take a look at your players to watch here this afternoon. And for Providence, they get it done with depth. But Casey Kalin, the leading scorer, the leading rebounder.
Number 10, the juniors, averages 12 and 4 rebounds, but he's that guy who just will do whatever it takes to win. He can rebound, he assists, he's a quarterback with this ball club.
And on the other sidelines for Central Noble, they've got a Wisconsin commit, 27 points per game. Mr. Esigian is a Mr. Basketball candidate.
And rightfully so. So listen to these. He shoots 68% from the floor, 43% behind the arc. He can do it all. He's got great length, really hard to defend. I'll tell you, he is a bona fide all-star for sure.
Head coach John Bodie says he's our leading scorer, but everyone else has done a good job of falling in line and working with him. It's the 2A state championship game on the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Hey, Britt, we gotta go.
Oh, well, see ya.
Hurry up. You've got 5 minutes. We're gonna be late. Hey, baby girl.
Inspired by touch, by play, by listening and laughter. Inspired by family gatherings and one-on-one conversations. Inspired by long walks, long lives, and lives simply lived well. Inspired by compassion, by healing, by grace and strength. What inspires us at Franciscan Health is you. Franciscan Health, inspiring health.
The 112th Annual IHSAA Boys Basketball State Finals are brought to you by the Indiana Pacers and Indiana Fever, presenting sponsor of the IHSAA State Basketball Tournament, and honored to support Indiana's game at all levels. And for the following, Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, presenting sponsor of the IHSAA Champions Network. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, stop knocking on wood. Forte Sports Medicine, the orthopedic specialists. By Wilson Sporting Goods, the official ball of the IHSAA. Menards, save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. Indiana Careers in Construction, built to succeed. Ivy Tech Community College, proud supporter of the IHSAA Sportsmanship Program. Reach your goal at Ivy Tech. Indiana Members Credit Union, keeping it simple. Connecticut, life is better with Connecticut water. Franciscan Health, inspiring health. The Indianapolis Colts for the shoe. Dellin Automotive, discover the Dellin difference. And by Bally Sports Indiana, broadcast home of the IHSAA Champions Network.
Central Noble Cougars lost just 2 times all season. For Providence, they were not ranked headed into the state tournament. One of these 2 teams will take home their first state championship in school history. Let's welcome on the 3rd member of our crew. He'll be on the sidelines this afternoon, Jeremiah Johnson.
Pat, one of the great things about Championship Saturday, the spotlight, the stage, a chance for basketball fans in the state of Indiana to see people they've maybe heard about but not seen in person or on television. Well, John Bodie of Central Noble told me that he had that conversation with Connor Esesian at the start of the season. He wanted him as a goal. He wanted him to be recognized as an all-star, maybe a Mr. Basketball candidate. He knew a deep tournament run could get him that spotlight. So I asked him before the game, now that he is here, what makes him so special? What makes him a player that a school like Wisconsin would recruit and give a commitment to? And he said he's competitive. You tell him he can't do something, he's always going to want to try to prove you wrong. And I said, well, give me an example of that. He said, well, his sophomore year, Charlie Yoder was playing at Westview, was one of the best players in the area. He's now at Incarnate Word. He said everyone at Central Noble would just chant to him, Charlie's better, Charlie's better, and he used that as motivation. So they continued to try to keep pushing Connor Esesian. They'll try to rely on him to a state championship run today.
Well, Jeremiah, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better player in all 4 of these games here this afternoon. Thank you. You're watching the 2022 Boys Basketball State Championships on the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Back inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse, where 4 champions will be crowned today and through the evening. North Davies got us off to a great start in a double overtime thriller over Lafayette Central Catholic. It's the 2A state championships, which are moments away from being underway. There's the Central Noble Cougars. They're led by John Bodie in his 6th season. They put together a 28-2 year. They're number 3 in Class 2A. And for the first time since 2003, this program went to semi-states a year ago. And they are looking for their first state championship victory here today. And on the other sideline, the Providence Pioneers are led by Ryan Miller. It's his third season, and he admitted he wasn't even sure if he had the team that could get to this stage. They were not ranked coming into the state tournament, but his Pioneers have made their way here to the state championship through a couple of close games. In fact, their last 3 in the tournament have all been single-digit wins. Pioneers, one of the top defensive teams in the state of Indiana. It's Providence and it's Central Noble. Time now for the starting lineups presented by Ivy Tech Community College. Reach your goal at Ivy Tech.
Good afternoon and welcome to the beautiful Cambridge Fieldhouse here in the heart of basketball country for today's 112th annual IHSAA Boys Basketball State Tournament featuring the Providence Pioneers and the Central Noble Cougars. At this time, let's meet the rosters and starting lineups for today's Class 2A State Championship game. First, let's meet the Providence Pioneers. Today, the roster includes number 5, Quentin Hesse. Number 12, Carter Lennon. Number 15, Brian Wall. Number 20, Jaden Johnson. Number 22, Grant Siebel. Number 25, Jackson Kaiser. And number 31, Charlie Scott. And now the starting lineup for the Pioneers. Starting today at guard, a 5'11" senior wearing number 3, Kane Carver. At guard, a 5'11" senior wearing number 13, Tyler Simmons. At guard, a 6'1" senior, number 23, Matt Beatty. At forward, a 6'4" senior wearing number 21, Grant Williams. And at forward, a 6'3" junior wearing number 10, Casey Kaler. The head coach of the Pioneers in his 3rd season, Ryan Miller. And now, let's meet the Central Noble Cougars. Today's roster includes number 3, Landon Weiss. Number 5, Aiden Granovich. Number 14, Reddick Solman. Number 20, Noah Shepard. Number 22, Spencer Adams. Number 24, Sam Esijan. And number 33, Isaiah Carr. And now the starting lineup for the Cougars. Starting today at forward, a 6'3" senior wearing number 4, Ryan Schroeder. At guard, a 6'4" senior wearing number 10, Connor Esijan. At guard, a 6'1" sophomore, number 12, Jackson Andrews. At guard, a 6'1" junior, number 15, Connor Lemon. And in the middle, a 6'7" senior, number 44, Logan Gilmore. The head coach of the Cougars in his 6th season, John Honey. Your officials for today's Class 2A State Championship game are Scott Parker, Tim Hartwright, Coach, and alternate Jeremy Slumber.
Today's keys to the game are brought to you by Wilson Sporting Goods, starting with the Providence Pioneers.
No doubt about it. They have got to get pressure on Connor Esijan. He averages 27. They need good shot selection. They'll slow it down a little bit, so each shot is going to be important. Got to make free throws. Going to think this one going to be close, Pat.
And for the Central Noble Cougars.
Got to shoot well from behind the arc, and they can do it. Shoot over 38 as a team. Everyone involved. I think Logan Guard will be a big factor today. Points in the paint. Let me tell you something. Central Noble can dribble drive the paint as well as anybody.
And the Cougars have knocked off number 2, number 4, and number 6 in Class 2A on their path here to Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Providence Pioneers victorious over Eastern Hancock in a game where they were trailing for most of the fourth quarter. They've made the most of that final quarter here in this tournament run. These two teams hit the floor here for the first time in school history with a 6'7" Logan Guard jumping against the 6'4" Grant Williams. Scott Arthur, Timothy Cartwright, and Rob Couch are your officials. It's the 2A state championship game between Providence and Central Noble. And we are underway here on Valley Sports Indiana. This is Jackson Andrews, the 6'1" sophomore. Central Noble, who has one of the top offenses in the state of Indiana, scoring 65 points per game. Providence defense holds opponents to just 43 points. One of the top defenses in Class 2A, and they'll have to be on as they look to offend Connor Esesian. And there's a good first defensive possession. Esesian, who averages 27 points per game. You'll see the ball a lot in his hands here this afternoon.
You'll see a lot of man in that today, Pat. Both teams really will pressure it.
Max Beatty hit that clutch three-pointer to send Providence right here to this stage a week ago. Here's Kaylee backing in. Kaylin, what a bank shot.
But number 10 and both sides of the team are a key player. I'll tell you, this young man is a little bit under the radar. He's really good.
This is Connor Esesian, Wisconsin-bound senior, as Lemon pulls up on the foul line, and that was blocked by Simmons. And so far, the Providence defense.
Yeah, this is what Kalen does so well. He'll dribble drive, always under control, uses his body incredibly well.
When you look at just the juxtaposition of the two leading scorers, Esesian at 27 points per game, Kalen at 12 points per game, as these Pioneers get it done with balance. They've got 7 players averaging 7 points or more. Here's Grant Williams teeing up a 3.
Wow, Williams with a great look, averages little under 10, but man, did he ever stroke that one.
Esesian nearly lost the handle. Schroeder from the baseline, and Central Noble gets on the board. Their 6'3" senior. Team's leading assister, and already you see the defensive pressure that Connor Esesian is commanding.
And we talked about that. He'll get a lot of attention, and rightfully so, but man, does he have a cast around him. And I really think tempo will be so important. Not so much to slow it down, but get in your comfort zone in the tempo that really makes you click.
This half court is where Ryan Miller likes to be. Williams tees up another 3. This one won't fall. The rebound, the putback, and a foul. And the picture-perfect start for Providence.
Boy, I tell you, they're just tough kids. I've watched a lot of film on them, and they just flat out get after it. They're a ball club that just gives up 35 points a game. Really strong defensively.
Ryan Miller said if they're going to win this game, they're going to have to rebound. They're an undersized group, but they out-rebounded Eastern Hancock 42-19. The semi-state that went down to the final minutes. That offensive rebound puts Pioneers up by 6 here early. There's Lemon battling through traffic. Tough shots. But Esesian, right place, right time.
Yes, sir. He's got great length, always around the bucket. While he's such a great shooter, he's really a good rebounder as well.
7 rebounds per game for the 6'4" senior. Kalen on the drive. A little push shot won't fall. You see the pace starting to pick up here a little bit.
Yeah, I think this is the pace that Central Noble would prefer to play at, Pat.
Errant pass looking for guard inside. This Providence defense, Miller said they're going to have to be ready from the jump, and they have been. Kalen hits a three.
On cue, baby. Man, he's feeling it. Get him in the ball.
That's 5 early points for the Pioneer leading scorer. They've already knocked down a pair of threes. Essesian, tough look. Good ball movement, good patience as Simmons drives inside and is met there by Schroeder. They've got a rim protector in the middle, and Logan Guard, the 6'7" senior for Central Noble.
Yeah, he's really good. He is a rim protector, and I think he may be kind of the diamond in the rough of this ball game.
Well, this Providence team scores 52 points per game. That's a bit low for a state championship level team, but what a start they're off to. 13 points, 4 minutes in. Ryan Miller's group has hit 5 of their first 8 shots.
Well, let's face it, they're a little undersized in this ball game, but they are so mentally tough and aggressive that may offset them.
And they jumped out to a 9-point lead here early in the 2022 Boys Basketball State Championships, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
My life has changed tenfold. I mean, from what I was doing prior to sheet metal, I can't even express how great it's become.
Future's bright in this industry because it's not going away.
With the union trades, I am earning an associate's degree without any college debt whatsoever.
Right now is one of the greatest times to start this process. With our benefits packages and our retirement packages, we're very tough to beat.
It's 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon. You have 2 choices. Option 1, take 2 nanoseconds to reach over and put on your seatbelt. Or option 2, decide it's too much work for a Saturday and don't put on your seatbelt. As the seatbelt alarm continues to sing the song of its people, you roll your eyes. You're just going down the block, you'll be fine. You take a turn to the left and that's when you see it.
Just wear your seatbelt. It's an easy way to save your own life. The Indiana Criminal Justice Institute wants to remind you that choices matter. Click it to live it.
Hey, Indiana. Let's clear the air about vaping. Glue, rat poison, paint. We all know these products contain poisons like formaldehyde, arsenic, and lead. And these are just a few of the chemicals you'll find in e-cigarette vapor. Let's clear the air, Indiana. Don't puff this stuff. Visit don'tpuffthisstuff.com to join the fight and spread the word.
To the 2022 Boys Basketball State Championship presented by the Indiana Pacers and Indiana Fever. Let's take a look at a week ago and just how Providence got here. They trailed for most of the evening to Eastern Hancock. Providence winning the battle of the boards, as we talked about, 42-19, and that paid dividends down the stretch. This is Max Beatty knocking down a huge 3 in the final minute, and Providence hasn't always been pretty, but they've just found a way here in the state tournament. 3 consecutive wins by single digits, and Ryan Miller's group, kind of the Cinderella in what's already been a Cinderella tournament.
Yeah, no doubt. And you know what he told me? He said, listen, we're one of those teams that gets better as the game goes on. You talked about how they finalized that game with number 9 Eastern Hancock. They trailed a lot of that game, but at the end, they were tough.
And the Cougars turn the inbound pass over. All right, if you're John Bodie here, neither of these teams have experience on this stage. Central Noble a little shaken here in the first 4 minutes.
Well, Providence not going to let up anytime soon. Their defense is relentless. It's pressurized, and you've got to be able to handle that for sure if you're Central Noble. You got to be patient and pass the ball. Dribbling will get you in trouble.
Providence offense exudes patience, is driving inside. Kalen with the foul.
Well, I'll tell you, right now, Kalen has taken this ball game over, and he's just always moving without the ball. He never really kind of forces much at all, but his decisions are precise. That's what makes him so special.
This is a team scoring and winning in the 40s for a lot of the tournament. Already at 15 points midway through the quarter and looking at a double-digit lead. Foul going against the Cougars. Ryan Miller, one of his biggest keys was we can't dig ourselves an early hole. Well, he's done the opposite here.
Yeah, he said, man, I hope we can just stay with him early. Well, you've done more than stay with him. I really felt like Providence really needed to get off to a good start and try to play with the lead as much as they could.
Here's Kalen, who's been dynamic in the early going. They run these 4 guards out here. They're all great ball handlers. They'll take their time. They'll run this clock. Minute-long possessions. They weren't afraid to use it. That's Kalen's first miss, and Schroeder pulls down the rebound. Now the Cougars look to steady themselves here a little bit. Still a long way to go. Central Noble, they've only lost a couple of times this year, and frankly, it's not been amongst their peers. This is kind of rarefied air for them.
Yeah, Schroeder is one of those players who needs to be a factor on the boards today, both defensively and offensively. We've already talked about Logan Guard, but those two twin towers are somewhat of a mismatch for Providence.
Esigian draws the foul there. Esigian, who put up 47 points in the regional opening win over Hammond Knoll. Top scorers in the state. 2 points here in the first quarter. Here is Esigian. Sees the double, gets it off to Schroeder, who buries a 3.
Great patience, nice assist. They're better when they move. When they move, they're really hard to defend.
Schroeder is a Trine University commit. Esigian is the big star, but they've got 3 players who are playing college ball, but it's Kalen who continues the attack.
Man, is he ever. He's brought his A game today, really just off that high screen, dribble drive to the bucket.
Esigian working inside, sees a triple team. Jaden Johnson, who's checked in for the first time here this afternoon.
Oh my! Providence is feeling it!
Providence can't miss. They've hit 8 of their 12 shots from the field. They're 3 of 4 from distance. And Quentin Hesse, who didn't even start this game, checks in off the bench and keeps that sharp shooting going. This 30-second timeout is brought to you by Sharp Business System, saluting great athletes and even better students. Ryan Miller's group has saved their best offensive quarter of the season for the first quarter of their biggest game of the year. Let's send it to the sidelines with Jeremiah Johnson.
Seeing so much energy in this Providence bench and from this coaching staff. Of course, Ryan Miller, but wanted to mention Lance Stemler, former Indiana University basketball player. These two have been coaching together in 2 different stints at Providence. In the middle, Stemler coached many of these players in 7th and 8th grade. He is the offensive coach, Ryan Miller, the defensive coach. When they have huddles, both of those guys talk. Ryan Miller praised his staff on Monday, saying he has one of the best staffs. He couldn't imagine a better one in high school basketball. Also gave a shout out to Dan Block, who was an IU manager under Bob Knight. Some cream and crimson on this Providence staff.
It's a terrific and experienced staff. They're all very close. And this Providence Pioneer team is taking a 13-point early lead. Esigian can't answer. It's Jaden Johnson, the 5'11 junior. He comes off the bench, but the team's leading assister.
Providence really doing a good job, Pat, of moving the ball. Everybody moving, the ball's moving.
Kalen, no look. There's Johnson.
Wow, what a pass. Lovely pass.
Esigian, good find underneath, and they're going to look to get Logan Guard a bit more involved. He's their 6'7" senior, 12 points, 8 rebounds per game. Their second leading scorer. Has a big size advantage down there. Providence has done a good job neutralizing him.
I really felt like the Providence, man, they're going to be really patient today, really slow the tempo down. Well, I'll rip up that note so far. They just really coming out focused and getting great shot selection, which we kind of felt like they needed to do and have done really so far.
I think maybe surprised the Cougars a little bit with their pace, with their intensity on offense here in the first quarter.
Well, you want to try to find something in a ball game that kind of really disrupts somebody. And right now, their pace is surprising, I think, quite honestly, to Central Noble.
9 of 13 from the floor here in this first quarter.
Well, that young man has just come off the bus, laser focus.
Providence looking to hold for the last shot. It's a 13-point lead. Hesse, you bet!
My!
Well, you can't do it any better than that if you're Providence. The Pioneers, who average 52 points per game, they put up a 25 spot in the first quarter behind some red-hot shooting from the perimeter. You're watching the 2022 Boys Basketball State Championships, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
Strong start for Providence. The Pioneers lead Central Noble 25-9 as we start the second quarter. Stacy London joins me now courtside at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. She is with Tobacco Prevention and Cessation. Can you explain to our viewers what exactly your organization does?
Sure. The Tobacco Prevention Cessation is a division of the Indiana Department of Health, and we have local and community partners that work with the schools to educate on the prevention of using e-cigarettes. And our mission really is to create an Indiana where there's no addiction to tobacco and no use of tobacco products.
We appreciate your partnership with the IHSA. How big of a problem is this in today's youth?
You know, it's a huge problem because our youth don't see this as harmful. You know, the hazards that are associated with vaping, the most important one is nicotine, and it's an addictive chemical that really does alter the youth's brain. So our message needs to be that vaping is harmful, it's not safe, and we need to get that message out. And so we're so blessed to have the partnership with the IHSAA.
Stacy London, thank you for all you are doing.
Thank you so much.
Jeremiah and Stacy, thank you. Underway here for the second quarter as Providence turns it over on their opening possession after a first quarter where they shoot 71% from the field. They hit 4 of their 5 3-pointers. Central Noble here back on their heels to start the second quarter. Logan Guard had it taken away. These guards from Providence have been so good. Kalen leaves that one short. And an over the back called on Hesse.
Well, Central Noble escaped one there. And they're finding out in a hurry the Providence pressure, the double P of this game, is problematic. If you dribble very much, their quickness can really cause you problems dribbling the basketball.
Well, you're really struggling to see Central Noble just settle into their offense.
Yeah, right now their offense has not got a flow to it as of yet.
It's a motion offense, which includes a lot of passing, a lot of ball movements, and movement away from the ball as guard sees the double team. Decision. And guard couldn't handle it.
I think they got to find a way to get Logan Guard posted up a little more on the block. Connor Decisions draws so much attention, and rightfully so, but to get that off of you a little bit, get somebody else involved for a little while, and try to get that defensive pressure surrounding somebody else.
Decision, the 27-point-per-game score, has been held to 1 of 5 shooting here so far this afternoon, and Kalen already has been excellent for Providence. He's got 9 of their 25.
And rebounding can be and should be a big factor for Central Noble if they get in rebounding position. Certainly they have the more length.
Decision once again, seeing 2. Andrews on the drive. Andrews draws the foul. This is also something that Central Noble didn't do in that first quarter, get to the foul line. Right. So a long way back here for the Cougars, but off to a better start here in the second quarter. You're good at being you. You've been you for years. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance is good at your insurance. Find an agent to help you think about it at infb.com. Starts with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. And stop knocking on wood.
Central Noble is a pretty good free throw shooting ball club as a whole, so especially the bigs. So I'd really like to see them get those bigs involved, get them to the free throw line. That opens up outside. On cue, Logan Guard.
There is that big Logan Guard just using his size there. And 3 points the hard way for the Cougars. Already 5 different players have scored for Providence. Their balance is the key offensively.
So impressive with their movement and spacing.
Williams, a little push shot on the baseline. This hot shooting continues. Williams now with 7 points.
Well, they just have great spacing, Pat. Great ball rotation and spacing usually equals good shot selection.
Schroeder got it to Esijan. And the first clean look for the senior Wisconsin commit, Connor Esijan. Providence shooting at 65% from the field. They missed just 6 shots here in almost 11 minutes, and that'll continue as Simmons able to find some space underneath.
And quite honestly, I'm a little surprised how easy it has been for Providence to get the paint.
Esijan right back to the rim, couldn't finish. And Andrews draws the foul. And to your point, Central Noble, Janney, very good defensive team, top 30 regardless of class this year.
You see Simmons right there, not the tallest. Sometimes you don't have to be. Will and Hart can do a lot of amazing things on this court. And Tyler Simmons with a big 2 right there.
Talk about not being in this spot much. If you're Central Noble, they won their games by an average of 22 points this year, the biggest margin in the state regardless of class. They're looking at a double-digit first-half deficit.
Well, now if you're Providence with this big lead, you can really double down defensively and just put over pressure almost on Central Noble to hold this lead. Really kind of hard to have this big run and hang on to it, but you can really make a dent in it by good defense.
And Esijan that time wasn't given space there to land.
I think the last thing you want to do if you're Providence right now with this big lead is put Central Noble to the free throw line. That's not the great recipe. And that's what you want to do if you're Central Noble. We talked about getting the talls involved here. Now all of a sudden we're starting to see them go to the free throw line. And that's exactly how they'll get back in this game.
Join the state finals. Help make sure the resources are available so that great games like these can be played forever by supporting the IHSAA Foundation. Go to ihsaafoundation.org and make a tax-free contribution today. Season hits the free throws. And while the Cougars are struggling a little bit on the offensive end, as you noted, they've done a nice job at getting themselves into the bonus here with 4:33 to go. When you get a Season to the line, an 84% free throw shooter, almost as good as a layup. Seeing this Providence 4-out, 1-in offense. Creating problems for the Cougars. That time, a double dribble.
As you continue to watch Casey Caden, watch his first step. He is as quick of a first-step player as I've seen in high school this year. Incredible first step.
Schroeder steps into a three. That won't fall. That's one aspect here of Central Noble's game. They're a very good three-point shooting team. They've been outscored by 12 points early from the line. It was a good look, though, for Schroeder. This will send Logan Guard to the line. It's already the 8th team foul on Providence. Central Noble's just committed 3, so they got a chance to make up some serious ground here at the line.
Yeah, they're continuing to get to the free throw line here in this period, and that has been big for them.
Guard a 66% foul shooter, but misses the front end.
Now it's hard to say, but Providence all of a sudden kind of needs some offense. You're starting to feel Central Noble kind of just chip away at this, get right back in this thing.
Pioneers have been held to 4 points here in the second quarter after that 25-point explosion in the first. And Central Noble starting to force some turnovers. Cougars trailing by 13, but looking to cut into it on the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
You're good at basement basketball.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
These are the moments we live for, we celebrate, we must protect. This is what the IHSAA Foundation does every day. By providing scholarships to student athletes, developing coaches and athletic directors, recruiting and retaining high school officials, and awarding grants to IHSAA member schools, we can protect the future of high school sports for the next generation of Hoosiers. Will you join us? We need your help on our team. Donate today at ihsaafoundation.org.
This is your IHSAA. This is your state. This is your high school. This is your athletic association.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and we're here to make sure that all of this remains yours.
This is your state. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
2022 Boys Basketball State Championship is presented by the Indiana Pacers and Indiana Fever as we take a look at how Central Noble got here in the semifinals. They were holding on to a small lead as they entered the fourth quarter and just able to keep Carroll at an arm's length. Some key plays and then the exclamation point there by Logan Guard with the slam dunk. The 6'7" senior helping Central Noble get here to the big stage. And he sees 3 wins over ranked teams. And that Fort Wayne Blackhawk Christian game, Central Noble head coach John Bodie feels like maybe the best game that they've played all season long. They've certainly been tested to get here, but not tested quite like this.
Yeah, number 4 rated Blackhawks, and then Carroll, number 6. You mentioned it was close. It was a 3-point lead. going into that fourth quarter. You want to take a guess who took the game over? Well, you're right. Connor Essegian took it over.
Essegian had 25 points, 10 rebounds in that one. Just 6 points here so far as guard. Somehow able to save that one, and there's Essegian who can't finish, but it's guard on the tip back.
Yeah, guard really taking a, he's got great length, good hands, and I told you early on, he can be the diamond in the rough for Central Noble.
Have a volleyball tap there from Logan Guard. He and Essegian have 12 of the 18 for Central Noble. Pioneers team, after that onslaught in the first quarter, held to 4 points here in the second. Still holding on to that double-digit lead.
I think Central Noble's defense has really kicked in here in the second period. Providence finding it much more difficult to get to the rim.
Yeah, that penetration you were seeing in the first quarter is not happening here in quarter number 2. Simmons sees a wall. Williams had his 3 rattle out. That shot has been on for Providence, even when they're missing. Look was halfway down. Essegian sees the double and the vision to Andrews.
You won't see a better pass than that in high school basketball. Knew where he was at the whole time. Just supervision of the court.
That 16-point deficit back down to single digits. Cougars weren't going to be able to get it all back here in the second quarter, but this is a fine start. Beatty, step back 3.
Providence really settling for really long threes.
Schroeder running the floor, and a whistle. A foul going against Providence.
Let's take a look at the double team here. This guy moves. So if this is 6'7", you know, we're not talking 6'1", but he dribbles out like a point guard and always sees where his teammates are in a no-look pass.
That's John Bodie. How does a guy like him, who gets all the attention he does, still score 27 points per game? As Schroeder misses the first, he said it's because he doesn't stop moving and he has such good vision.
And that's key. And the other fact is he's got great length. He's got great leaping ability. He knows the game. You know, his basketball IQ is just off the charts. I've watched film on him all week. He just knows what to do and when to do it.
They talked about this before the game, a little bit of a chip on his shoulder for that Indiana All-Star coming up this year. Hoping to make it as a senior after just missing the cut as a junior. Central Noble leaves a pair empty at the line there.
Well, Providence has really settled for long threes here in this second period.
Simmons and a blocking foul. We'll go against Central Noble. Sam Essegian.
The charging call, need his feet planted. That's pretty close.
Still just the 4th foul on Central Noble. They can afford to gamble a little bit like that.
I would agree, Pat. They've got to get some flow back in their offense. Let's give Central Noble a ton of credit here. They found that extra gear in their defensive pressure.
This is Grant Williams, who...
Wow, Central Noble really overplaying the passing lanes right now.
Johnson on the drive, feeds underneath, the shot fake, the patience, and the finish for Siebold. That was really nicely done by Siebold for his first scoring. The junior comes off the bench, and now it's Carver with a steal. Providence starting to show a little bit of what they did in that first quarter.
You got to be patient when you're with the talls right there. Gathered himself, got his legs underneath him, and went up strong.
Providence has now had 7 different players who have scored here so far this afternoon. Kate Carver, the only one who hasn't, and he's got the team lead with 3 assists. He's been about as balanced as Ryan Miller could ask from his balanced group. They play the cards right here. They'll hold a double-digit lead heading into the half.
Providence going to be in no hurry at all with an 11-point lead. They may play the quarter out, and I would too.
Alex Simmons shuffled his feet down there. So just over 4 seconds for the Cougars, trailed by 16 after 1. And they turn it over. That inbound pass was on the sidelines, and Noah Shepard couldn't catch it and stay in bounds. And that's all you need to know on how this first half has gone for John Bodie.
Well, in a state tournament game, you cannot have unforced turnovers. And that certainly was one. That's a mistake. Now, let's see if Providence can make them pay dearly for that mistake. That makes it become really, really big.
Well, even with this quarter where they have been slowed a bit offensively, Providence still shooting over 60% from the field in this first half. They shoot at just 44% on the season. Talk about bringing your best game to the big stage. Providence has undoubtedly done that. Kalen will have to fire. And that will take us through two. The Pioneers, led by 16 points after 1. They've got a double-digit lead. The Cougars start to chip away. You see Central Noble looking a little bit more like themselves in that second quarter. But they've still got a big deficit here as they hit the half and hit the locker room, and likely some significant adjustments coming here for John Bodie's group, who gives up just 43 points per game. They've allowed 31 here at the half. Let's send it over now to Jeremiah Johnson.
With Ryan Miller, you're shooting 59% in the first half. Outstanding start. What was the key to that fast start?
Yeah, you're right. It was a nice start. Boys came out right from the gate, executing the game plan. We were able to get the shots we wanted, which led to high percentage. Obviously, the boys came out aggressive as well. When they got the open looks, they were ready to knock them in. I thought a little late there. We got a little loose with the ball a few times there, a few turnovers, and obviously we've got to stay strong on the glass here. They got some O boards, and we let their guy get a few easy ones. So we cannot allow that to happen, so got to talk here at halftime, clean some of that up.
You summed it all up in one question. Great job. Go back to the locker room.
Thank you.
Jeremiah and Ryan, thanks. They'll look to keep that momentum going as they hit the half. What a first half for Providence. The Pioneers lead it by 11. This is the 2022 Boys Basketball State Championships on the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
Halftime of the Class 2A Boys Basketball State Championship game. Providence has a 31-20 lead in this one. Outstanding day all day long here at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. I'm Jeremiah Johnson, joined now by IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig. Paul, smiling. We're seeing large crowds, 4 games in one day. I know this has been a long time coming. You had a successful girls' state championship event as well, so you just living in the moment?
Living in the moment. Just happy to be here with our fans. And what a way to start off the day. We have a double overtime game that finishes at the free throw line, and these teams are just getting warmed up. and we're going to have an incredible second half here. But, yeah, just blessed to be here enjoying high school athletics across the state of Indiana.
This event is presented by the Indiana Pacers in the Indiana Favor. What does this partnership mean to the IHSAA?
Well, it means everything. And nowhere else in the country is there that kind of relationship between the IHSAA, the Pacers, and the Fever. But what it does is it allows these students to experience the big stage of Gainbridge Fieldhouse, the home of our Pacers, and play on the floor that the professionals play on. You know, well, how special is that?
I wanted you to maybe give a shout out to all the coaches, the administrators, parents. It's been a tumultuous 2 years, and a lot of people have had to put in a lot of hard work just to make sure you've been able to hold these events.
It has, and I've often said nowhere but Indiana. And I mean that, nowhere but Indiana were we able to do what we did this past year, and that is a tribute to the people in our school, because the first thing we had to do is teach kids. We had to teach before we could play, and our schools did such a great job of opening the door, allowing the kids to come back in, learn in their classroom, and then be able to go on the field and participate and learn in the second classroom. Our coaches, our administrators, our cafeteria people, our bus drivers, everybody did a phenomenal job to make sure that the light stayed on for these kids.
This is the final Winter Sports Championship. You'll start spring sports pretty soon and then have another group of champions to honor in a couple of months.
Absolutely, and we're ready to go outside. The spring sport kids have already been out. They're warming up. They're dodging raindrops right now, but they're ready to go, and we'll have some state championships in a couple of months, and we'll celebrate those in style also.
He is Paul Neidig, commissioner of the IHSAA. We are at halftime of the boys Class 2A state championship game. As we go to break, we do want to shine a spotlight on some of the other IHSAA winter sports champions. Champions crowned in the swimming pool, on the girls' basketball court, the wrestling mat, and so much more. Honor these champions. We'll be back after this short timeout on the IHSAA Champions Network.
Ivy Plus helps students navigate the cost of college in 2 ways: tuition and textbooks. Ivy Plus Tuition simplifies what students pay by charging the same tuition rate if they're enrolled in 12 or more credits. You pay the same amount whether you take 12, 15, or even 18 credits, so you can graduate faster while saving money. You'll save even more with Ivy Plus textbooks. Best of all, students in the Fall 21 and Spring 22 will receive their required textbooks at no additional cost.
In addition to Pacers basketball, my family's a big fan of 2 things: rescue dogs and great Connecticut water. So when we adopted Walter to join Bailey, he too gets his bowl of water right from our Connecticut K5 drinking water station. We take our water quality seriously, which is why we also have a whole home water treatment system. Improve your water like we do. Visit ConnecticutIndy.com for your free in-home water test. Connecticut, official sponsor of the Indiana Pacers.
Welcome back to the 2022 Boys Basketball State Championship presented by the Indiana Pacers and the Indiana Fever. Well, our day of basketball got off to such a strong start, and the 1A State Championship game went double overtime. This one got off to kind of a shocking start here in game number 2.
Yeah, Providence took 5 turnovers from Central Noble and put them into points, and shooting over 50% for that first half.
Providence got 25 points in that first quarter, led by as many as 16 before Central Noble started chipping away a little bit there. And we'll take a look now at our first half highlights. They are presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. But what an onslaught from the opening tip from this Providence offense.
Yeah, Casey Kalin, one of our stars, 9 points in that first half. And I just love the fact they came out in attack mode.
25 points in that first quarter. They opened 8 of 12 from the field. Connor Esesian with 6 points in that first half. and also with 3 assists, a stat line that most players would take. For a season at 27 points per game, Providence has done a nice job. Both of these offenses shooting it pretty well. As we take a look at the Forte Sports Medicine halftime stats, Forte Sports Medicine, the orthopedic specialists, Providence still cooking here as we hit the half.
Yeah, we highlighted the fact their offense really efficient in that first half. Then they supplemented, I thought, that in the second half, or second quarter, I should say, with super good defense. I thought Central Noble did what they should do, get to the free throw line a little bit more.
Central Noble was able to trim that deficit back 2 single digits at one point, got it down to 9. The deficit stands at 11 here at the half. You're watching the 2022 Boys Basketball State Championships on the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
Ivy Plus helps students navigate the cost of college in 2 ways: tuition and textbooks. Ivy Plus Tuition simplifies what students pay by charging the same tuition rate if they're enrolled in 12 or more credits. You pay the same amount whether you take 12, 15, or even 18 credits, so you can graduate faster while saving money. You'll save even more with Ivy Plus textbooks. Best of all, students in the Fall 21 and Spring 22 will receive their required textbooks at no additional cost.
In addition to Pacers basketball, my family's a big fan of 2 things: rescue dogs and great Connecticut water. So when we adopted Walter to join Bailey, he too gets his bowl of water right from our Connecticut K5 drinking water station. We take our water quality seriously, which is why we also have a whole home water treatment system. Improve your water like we do. Visit ConnecticutIndy.com for your free in-home water test. Connecticut, official sponsor of the Indiana Pacers.
Providence leads Central Noble 31-20. John Bodie joins me now. Coach, do you feel like you weathered that early storm a little bit? You're back in this game.
Yeah, we weathered it, but I told the kids at halftime we got bullied a little bit the first half. They were quicker to loose balls, quicker to rebounds, and they out-physicaled us, out-hustled us, and we got to change that to second half.
You expected physical defense on Connor. How do you get him loose here in the second half?
Yeah, we got to cut harder. We got to screen better. And, the screen's got to be better for Connor, and he's got to cut harder and make the right decision, whether to curl or flare. So we got to make better decisions.
Thank you, John.
Okay, thanks.
This is just game 2 of 4 on the day. We've got more IHSAA boys basketball still to come later today at 6 p.m. Beech Grove will take on Mishawaka Marion for the 3A state championship. And following that game, Indianapolis Cathedral squares off with Chesterton in the 4A state championship games. Now, those games will be broadcast on Bally Sports Indiana Extra, so please take a look at your program guide. Maybe plan a couple minutes ahead to find that correct channel. The 3A and the 4A state championship games will be on Bally Sports Extra. Hope to have you along for the ride for a great day of basketball here from Gainbridge Fieldhouse. So we get ready here for the third quarter. Connor Essegian, he's seen some pretty physical defense. He's seen a lot of numbers thrown his way. How does Central Noble try to free him up a little bit?
Well, I think he knows he's got to free up, and they know it too. And I'm just making a prediction here. Providence, you better be ready. He's got another gear if he puts it on.
Ryan Miller's group holding the Central Noble offense to 20 points in that first half. They score 60 points per game on the season, but they haven't seen a lot of defenses like this one as they look inside to guard, and guard using that height.
He's such a mismatch issue inside. I'd really like to see them find him a little bit more.
Logan Guard now with 8 points. He's hit all 4 of his shots when they've gotten him to his spot. He hasn't missed. And the hot shooting from the perimeter continues. There's Grant Williams. And already the 5th 3 here on the afternoon for Providence.
Well, not only a great shot, but let's not forget Grant Williams has been following Mr. Essegian everywhere he goes defensively.
As Schroeder gets inside, takes the contact, and will go to the foul line. Well, look, if you're Central Noble, this is kind of the long game they're playing here to chip away, get back in this game. And they did such a good job in the first half of getting to the line, forcing fouls. And you imagine that could come to play if they can continue to get to the line here once you get to the fourth quarter. You're good at being you. You've been you for years. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance is good at your insurance. Find an agent to help you think about it at infb.com. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood. It's these fouls here in the third quarter that can add up, really make a difference once you get to the fourth, especially if you're trying to mount a big comeback like this.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And when you're not shooting the ball as well as Central Noble can, go inside. Get a higher percentage shot.
Central Noble is 5 of 9 from the three-point line. That's not exactly been where they've hung their hat this season. This team has come ready to play, ready to shoot it here from Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Williams has already hit a couple from out there, finds some space. Williams on the offensive rebound and the putback.
Wow, he just has been everywhere for Providence. Central Noble did not do a great job of helping out on that baseline and checking him out.
Look back inside, guard sees the double, kick out Lemon, corner three. And a foul on the floor going against Providence. Well, they're undersized and they're trying to use their physicality to mitigate that size difference. It's already a couple fouls here, a couple minutes in.
That's exactly what you have to do if you are undersized. You try to minimize the height by being more physical than your opponent. And right now, Providence is starting to stack up a little bit of fouls. I've always told people you've got to adjust the officiating. At times they'll tighten it up a little bit, and you've got to read that as a team.
It's Hesse off target on a three. Carver pulls down the rebound. And Simmons can't finish on the drive.
Well, but the problem is Providence continues to get extra shots.
Decision, tough look. Well, they're making life difficult on the Wisconsin commit. Now 2 of 9 from the field is Decision. Really only had one clean look here through 3 quarters.
Well, we've seen him hit that fall away. He's really falling away on these jump shots.
And Kalen creates the contact. Casey Kalen will go to the free throw line. 9 points in that first half for Kalen. Team's leading scorer, the leading rebounder, also the shortstop on the state championship baseball team. Ryan Miller, as coach said, he'll play collegiately. Just kind of trying to figure out first what sports and then where to go. He's only a junior.
Defensive effort that Providence has put on Connor Esijan has been incredibly great here early. They really have forced him to really take fall-aways, more difficult, high degree of difficulty shots in this ball game, and that has been so far very effective defensively for Providence Pioneers.
Providence has done a nice job here withstanding a couple of Central Noble blows. Got the deficit to 9 a couple of times, and Providence has been right there to answer. Schroeder looking for the lob. That's undershot.
Not a good decision.
Simmons comes up with the steal.
Well, if I'm Providence right now, I'm going to do exactly what they're doing, Pat. Work, 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 make the defense break down, see if you can get a really good-looking bucket here.
Going to take a lot of energy out of the Cougars as well on the defensive end. They look to mount this comeback. Providence making them work here on this end of the floor.
And that's why the lead is so important. You can do so many different things when you have the lead.
Williams straight away, can't get the roll. Did a couple already this afternoon. And the Cougars touched it last. I'll tell you, this Providence team, which Ryan Miller was really worried about their size, now +4 on the glass. As they've done a terrific job muscling inside with the bigs of Central Noble.
Well, I thought they spent a lot of time and energy, and maybe not the shot they really wanted. That one either.
Corner three, but another offensive rebound.
But as long as you rebound, you can take all those you want, right?
That's their 7th board on the offensive end here already today.
That's a problem for Central Nova. You got the height, you got the length, and right now, Providence is really handling the boards.
Here's Carver trapped in the corner, able to rescue it. Simmons back to Carver. Providence has taken great care of the ball, just 4 turnovers. And look, they're not thinking milk clock yet, but this isn't a bad thing if you're a Pioneer fan.
Especially with the lead. Oh, good shot. Now that was a superb shot selection. He had him used his body. Let's take a look at this one because look what he does with his left shoulder. He almost forces that official to really call that because he uses his body to create this foul.
Grant Williams has just been a relentless attacker here today. Game high 12 points. He's a 68% free throw shooter. A good example of just the balance of Providence. They got their biggest win in school history a week ago, and this guy Grant Williams, who starred today, had 5 points in that one.
Yeah, that game against Carroll was a barn burner up at Elkhart. Really physical down the stretch. Central Nova was able to pull that one out.
A miss, a putback. Oh, and Central Nova, they can't clear here. This has been a gut punch of a possession for Providence, who's already got a point on it. And this is their 5th look at this possession. Williams on the drive, the floater. There is Esesian to finally put an end to it.
He's got to take over now, Pat. He's got to take over.
He's got that in mind. Looking underneath and a turnover. Shepard couldn't handle it. A really frustrating day for Connor Esesian. 2 of 9 shooting.
He's kind of holding his eye a little bit. He must got poked in the eye.
Simmons on the drive. Providence continues to attack. They'll go right back to the line.
Well, the best recipe you can have as a ball club, if you have a 14-point lead, is get to the line. Get to the line. Just continue to power at the ring and get to the line. That really makes it tough on your opponent.
Simmons is a 71% free throw shooter. 5'7" lefty senior. You're good at being you, and you've been you for years. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance is good at your insurance. Find an agent to help you think about it at infb.com. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood. Corner 3 won't fall for Lemon. And Providence has Central Nova one and done again.
Yeah, no, just very few second opportunities for Central Nova.
15-point lead as they've been able to buoy that margin. And now the foul's starting to rack up a little bit here on the Cougars. That was their 4th. They're still looking at a 15-point deficit late in the 3rd. The IHSAA Champions Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. 2022 Boys Basketball State Championship is presented by the Indiana Pacers and Indiana Fever. Since 1972, Title IX has helped protect opportunities for every female athlete in high school sports. When Title IX passed, it opened doors for generations of female athletes in the Hoosier State and around the country. The IHSAA would like to recognize pioneers like former IHSAA commissioners Patricia Roy, Mildred Ball, Teresa Wins, and Sandy Searcy. The IHSAA is proud to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the passing of Title IX. Providence fans, they've liked what they've seen so far. Just over 10 minutes left to play in this one. And a 5-second call. Providence can't get it in bounds. If you're Central Noble, got a big hill to climb here, and it's not all going to happen at once. Probably have to start with trying to find ways to get decision going.
Well, two things got to happen. They've only shot 17% from behind the arc, and they are getting out rebound by 6, 19-13. Got to fix both of those right now, Pat.
Central Noble just 1 of 5 from the field here in the third quarter. Asian has not scored in the second half. They look underneath, inside, and there's Asian. He gets on the board here in quarter number 3.
Gotta go. It's just absolutely go time for Central Noble and Connor Asian.
And you see that defensive pressure ratcheting it up a little bit in their aggressiveness. Asian standing at that half-court line. Providence guards have been so adept at handling the pressure here so far.
Providence has done such a great job of handling these traps and making Central Noble play lots of defense. And when you do that, the legs start to get a little tired defensively, and you're more apt to make a mistake.
Here's Hesse lining up a three.
That's a backbreaker right there.
Hesse knocks it down, and the lead right back to 16. This is where it was after the first quarter. Asian fouled on a three. They didn't give him space to land.
Take a look at this. Gets out of trouble. This is just a backbreaker. And the reason he's open, Pat, is because so much attention has been given to the paint. And boy, if they can hit that three in a timely fashion, that is tough.
Providence are led by 16 after 1. Saw that lead trimmed to 9 a couple of times. And before that free throw, right back at 16 points.
This could be point number 10 for Connor Asian. Got it.
Asian, who hadn't scored in the second half, looking for 5 points on consecutive possessions. When you've got a guy like him, you've always got a chance.
Yeah, you really do. But right now, Schroeder and Asian are the only two on the court who have even scored right now.
Asian, a perfect 5 of 5 from the line. Struggling a bit from the field where he's 3 of 10. Making an impact here late in the third quarter.
Well, I think if you're Providence right now, you want to really finish on a strong note.
Here's Hesse inside. Lemon had it blocked. Even when Central Noble looks open, this Providence defense, they really haven't blinked all afternoon.
No. And it's a tribute to their quickness. They really are so quick, and they play the passing lanes very well.
Asian pull up from the baseline, off balance, but he's a tough shot maker.
That's as tough a shot as we've seen him make all game. Central Noble starting to fill it, Pat.
Asian at 6 points in the first half. He's got 7 here in the last couple of minutes. Providence backcourt has handled everything Central Noble's thrown at him so far, and there's a foul on Lemon, and it's their 5th.
That 11-point lead. Something magical about getting under that 10-point margin going into the fourth period. And if somehow Central Noble can do that, boy, they're still in this thing. Despite everything that really kind of has not went their way, the shooting woes and the rebound, they're still within what is very doable.
Central Noble applying all sorts of pressure. So far, Providence has broken it down expertly. And Johnson right there with a floater. Season got it up for Schroeder to the corner. Lemon. One more look. It's Shepard. And that won't fall at the buzzer. It's a 13-point lead for the Pioneers. Both of these teams looking for their first state championship. One of the two is a quarter away. Providence has been near perfect so far. What do they have in the fourth? Watching the boys basketball state championships presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Hey, Britt, we gotta go. Oh, well, see ya. Hurry up! You've got 5 minutes. We're gonna be late. Hey, baby girl!
Inspired by touch, by play, by listening and laughter. Inspired by family gatherings and one-on-one conversations. Inspired by long walks, long lives, and lives simply lived well. Inspired by compassion, by healing, by grace and strength. What inspires us at Franciscan Health is you. Franciscan Health, inspiring health.
Providence 44, Central Noble 31 in the Class 2A Boys Basketball State Championship game presented by the Indiana Pacers and Indiana Fever. Nolan Granick joins me now. He is the Associate Director of Guest Experiences for Pacers Sports and Entertainment. For those fans that are watching, Nolan, that have not been here, what kind of experience will they see after the second phase of renovations?
Oh, this is the best fan experience in the world, best arena in the world. We're here putting on a great show. In 49 other states, it's just basketball, but here it's a little bit different, so we treat our fans to a great guest experience.
Speaking of the number 49 games in 34 days. How has the staff held up, and how much fun has this been over the last month?
Oh, this has been fantastic. It's great not only for the arena, for the state of Indiana. Our staff are loving it, and this is a great way to culminate, to get towards the end of those 49 games, ending it here with the IHSA state championships.
Say the IHSAA state finals means a lot to everyone here.
Yes, it does. It's a fantastic experience. We love having the boys out here and the girls. And the first game was fantastic. Second one's going to be another good one, and can't wait to see what tonight brings.
Thanks, Nolan.
Thank you.
Well, here comes the pressure from Central Noble. Schroeder, the steal, and the lay-in. So a good start here for this Cougars defense so far. Providence has remained unfazed by that pressure. They continue to dial it up another notch and look to force turnovers. They'll have to here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, what Central Noble needs to do is get their fan base in it, make a little run here, and try to get Providence on their heels a little bit.
Here's Casey Kalin, the leading scorer, one of the leaders on this team. Spotting up his Beatty off target, and another offensive rebound. Simmons pulled it down, and a jump ball.
Take a look at the pressure that Central Noble knows they have got to do right now. It's now or never. It's a good way to start with an energy-type level play to start this fourth period out. This game, they have only shot 13% behind the three-point arc. Really felt like that should and could be an advantage for them.
Decision splits the double team, loses the handle, and Schroeder couldn't pull it down. The Central Noble defense here forced 5 turnovers in the first 3 quarters. They forced 2 in the first 2 possessions. They're going to need to take better care of the ball on their own end. And this one's a foul. It's a little too much of the body there by Essesian. That's his third.
Yeah, we might make mention we have 2 Essesians right now. Sam is out on the court as well. You see number 24. There's number 10 in your picture. Two of them, and they both play very well together.
They are brothers. Sam the younger, he's a sophomore. Kalen, corner three. And once again, the offensive glass. The Pioneers continue to outbattle the Cougars here.
No doubt about it. Quite honestly, it's the difference in this ball game. Grant Williams absolutely just playing phenomenal hard-nosed type basketball.
That is their 11th offensive rebound. Providence is +5 on the glass. Ryan Williams just didn't want to get beat too badly there. His team's winning that margin. Kalen dips inside, and the athletic finish.
He's been quiet for a little while. Big play right there, though, by Casey Kalen.
Lemon steps into a three, and an answer. Just the second three here for Central Noble.
Let's see if that one gets them going here.
The lead has not been any lower than 9 since the first quarter.
Central Noble in a 1-3-1 half-court trap. If you're Providence, get the ball to the middle.
Kalen, jump stop.
There it is.
Johnson back to Kalen, off balance.
Tough shot. Tough shot, Pat.
He's hit a couple of them in the fourth quarter.
Whoever gets this kid at the next level, he's Justin Jr., he's special.
Lemon this time short on a three. Your point, Kalen is not yet committed, but there have to be some coaches whose eyebrows are heading north watching this performance.
Take a look at Mr. Kalen right here. So much under control when he goes to the hoop. Those type of players, Pat, can do so many things because they use their body so well under control.
Kalen, a 6'3" junior. He will play collegiately once he decides the sports and the college. This 30-second timeout is brought to you by Sharp Business System, saluting great athletes and even better students. Look, Dan, we've seen 2 or 3 runs by Central Noble, and each time they get that deficit right around the 10-9 point mark. Providence has an answer each and every time. Before that, hold that thought. We'll send it to the sidelines with Jeremiah Johnson.
Crazy. Singleton's story was profiled on WLKY News. Coach Miller told me that for 3 or 4 years he'd been saying, my senior year, can I dress? Can I play in a game? He said, yeah, if you keep doing your job as a manager, we'll let you dress, we'll let you play. He practiced that week, and he knocked that shot down, and now he's on the big screen, and the fans are chanting his name. One of the things you love about high school basketball.
Great story, Jeremiah. Thank you for sharing it with us. And you think he's pumped up?
That is a great, great story. Well, you mentioned, Pat, a few times that Central Noble have made small runs, not anything huge. But the problem is Providence just answers the bell every time they made a little run.
Now, this Providence offense has really complemented such a swarming defensive afternoon so well. You can count on one hand the amount of open looks the Cougars have had here today. Sam Asian to his brother, Connor. Off target on the baseline. Guard couldn't handle it. Schroeder tries to track it down. And there's Hesse.
Well, if I'm Providence, I'm patient right here.
Under 5 minutes to play. Kalen, he stays aggressive.
Or give it to Casey Kalen. One or the other works very well for you, Pat.
Kalen now at a game-high 16 points. Asian, difficult look. Guard battling underneath with a couple of blue jerseys.
This is what makes Casey Kalen so special. What should have been pulled out, but the problem is He sees an opening. You're a player of his caliber, and you don't waste an opening, and he sure didn't waste any time. Great shot.
I'll tell you, when you first look at these two teams, when you got that state finals matchup, the 27 points from Asijan, the leading scorer, the 12 from Kalen, those two things really stood out, just the differential there. But it's Kalen who's led the game in scoring. Here's Kalen with a bank shot.
Oh, my. That's special right there. That was a turnaround, no look, right hand off the glass. Did I miss anything?
Lemon open for three. That won't go. Central Noble, a good three-point shooting team on the year, 38%. They have hit just 2 of 12 from out there today.
Well, let's not kid ourselves, you know. Kalen has heard all the press clippings about Connor and Asijan, so he kind of probably took this a little bit personal. Listen, you know, I'm kind of good here too, and so far he's proved that he is.
Casey Kalen, who had 9 in the first half, 9 here in the second half. Go to the line for a 1-and-1. This is the 8th foul on Central Noble. Better educated coaches produce better athletes. You can help give high school coaches the training they need by contributing to the IHSAA Foundation. Make your tax-free contribution today at ihsaafoundation.org. Kalen, a 57% free throw shooter, but no surprise.
Well, Central Noble's going to have to get back in this game with their defense. Turn defense into offense now.
That's an 18-point deficit, their largest of the afternoon they're staring at is Asijan with a push shot. That shot's long. They're trying to get the jump ball. But instead, they're going to get a foul call on Logan Guard.
I'll tell you what Casey Kalen does so well here as he tucks his elbows in. You start getting those things out there swinging, you're going to get a foul. He's got everybody. Now, watch where his elbows are in. Keep him in, and so you have to get the foul. He gets those elbows out, and he's probably going to get the offensive foul.
I'll tell you, Jan, as impressive as that first quarter was, in some ways, you're maybe even more impressed by the way that Providence has withstood these runs. I mean, everyone in the building was thinking it. That Cougar run is coming, and they did have a couple, cut it down to 9, and we're not done here, but the way Providence has been able to withstand everything here so far has just been remarkable.
It has been, and they supplemented that great start with phenomenal defense.
They've outscored the Cougars 11-5 here in the fourth quarter. And how about Johnson with the steal, and Kalen there to pick him up.
It's rebound after rebound. Central Noble needs a timeout.
Quentin Hesse, the sophomore, on the putback. And the lead is over 20 for the Pioneers on the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
My life has changed tenfold. I mean, from what I was doing prior to sheet metal, I can't even express how great it's become.
Future's bright in this industry because it's not going away.
With the union trades, I am earning an associate's degree without any college debt whatsoever.
Right now is one of the greatest times to start this process. With our benefits packages and our retirement packages, we're very tough to beat.
It's 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon. You have 2 choices. Option 1, take 2 nanoseconds to reach over and put on your seatbelt. Or option 2, decide it's too much work for a Saturday and don't put on your seatbelt. As the seatbelt alarm continues to sing the song of its people, you roll your eyes. You're just going down the block, you'll be fine. You take a turn to the left, and that's when you see it.
Just wear your seatbelt. It's an easy way to save your own life. The Indiana Criminal Justice Institute wants to remind you that choices matter. Click it to live it.
Hey, Indiana. Let's clear the air about vaping. Glue, rat poison, paint. We all know these products contain poisons like formaldehyde, arsenic, and lead. And these are just a few of the chemicals you'll find in e-cigarette vapor. Let's clear the air, Indiana. Don't puff this stuff. Visit don'tpuffthisstuff.com to join the fight and spread the word.
This telecast is copyrighted by the Indiana High School Athletic Association for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, videos, and audio without the express written permission of the IHSAA is prohibited. Providence leading by 10 in the midst of a 11-0 run to go up 21 points as Schroeder can't get it to go. The tough shooting night continues for Central Noble. 35% from the field. Central Noble is 5 of 19, under 30% in the second half. Guard pops free and hits a deep two. Unfortunately for Central Noble, we haven't seen a lot of Logan Guard, but this is a really impressive looking big. He's going to head to Trine and do some great things there. A lot of versatility. See that with his ability to hit that 20-foot jumper.
Yeah, he's got a college player body. He's really lengthy, strong young man, plays well, got great hands. That's a nice pickup for them.
He and Ryan Schroeder will be headed to Trine University in Angola, Indiana.
Central Noble's going to have to really be aggressive with their hands, play the passing lanes because there's just not much time left.
The Asian there is just gone through so much physically. Some of this trap has backed off for the Cougars. That's an unforced turnover by Simmons. One of the few errors we've seen from Providence here today.
Connor Asian has never sat down today. He's been nonstop this whole ball game.
Aiden Dry-Belbis, the senior, check in for the first time for Central Noble. Shepard, corner, Dry-Belbis comes off the bench and buries a three. Pressure will stay on here. Central Noble needs a lot to go their way.
Under two.
Foul Grant Williams, a 68% free throw shooter. And Providence goes into the double bonus.
Well, I think this young man right here, number 21, a senior, Grant Williams, has just had an outstanding ball game, both offensively, and he spent a lot of his time guarding Connor Asian.
Ryan Nola-Gredick hit on it there as we were starting the fourth quarter. What a tremendous opportunity for these kids to get to play in this building.
It is.
There aren't many, if any, buildings busier than Gainbridge Fieldhouse in the month of March.
That is for sure.
Big Ten men and women were here. The NCAA tournament was here. The Pacers are here. Girls basketball at the beginning. Boys basketball will bookend it. Here's Asian. Well, that's an impressive finish through traffic.
Hey, let's throw the Eagles in there on Tuesday night.
Yes.
I was here.
Throw a concert into the mix.
That's right.
That final stage of renovations will be happening here this summer, and this building will continue to get even more impressive. Plaza, the outside area, will be done.
Well, you can't say enough great things about seeing fans back in the stands. I'll tell you, broadcasting here with not very many people was not much fun.
Great to be back here courtside and enjoying the state championship. Let's send it over to Jeremiah Johnson.
Providence's first time on the boys basketball big stage, but 6 of their players already have championship experience. 3 baseball players have that blue ring, helping Providence beat Eastside in the 2021 baseball state finals. Casey Kalin, Max Beatty, Grant Siebold. Also 3 soccer players were here in the fall. Quentin Hesse, Charlie Scott, Jackson Kays. So maybe not basketball state finals experience, but that big stage, perhaps that carried over because, Pat, they were not intimidated by this atmosphere.
That's a really good call. Jeremiah Schroeder hits the 3. Providence hasn't looked fazed by the moment all afternoon, and they are a minute 23 away, looking to crown themselves state champions for the first time in program history. Welcome back to the 2022 Boys Basketball State Championships presented by the Indiana Pacers and Indiana Fever. Take a look at the Providence Pioneers, who come from Clarksville, Indiana. That's down near the border, not too far from Louisville, an enrollment of just over 300. Not in a conference, they are independent. They are part of the 6 of the 8 teams that are here for the first time. These two schools come from a long way to meet up. Central Noble, the Northeast Corner Conference in northeastern Indiana. 250 miles separate these two schools, who both have accomplished more this season than any year previously in school history. And there will be a lot to celebrate for both of these two teams once this clock hits 0. But I think you really have to marvel at just the consistent performance that we've seen from the Pioneers here today.
Just so well coached. You know, you talk about getting off to a good start. How about a superb start? I mean, you couldn't have scripted that thing any better. And JJ was talking about how well the baseball team has done. Well, Mr. Casey Kalin is their starting shortstop. Imagine that.
So Ryan Miller there. We've seen him roaming the sidelines in his 3rd year. Going to bring history to the Providence program. He's a Providence grad himself, Ryan Miller. Graduated in 1999, and that itch to coach just never went away as the season leans in and draws his second 3-shot foul of the afternoon.
Well, you just can't say enough of good things about how they've defended Connor Season today. He's gotten a little frustrated here lately because they literally have had somebody in his face. They made the decision early on, listen, we're going to do everything to try to keep him from beating us. If everybody else does, it is what it is. But we're going to double, we're going to triple him, and he's had a tough time tonight based upon the fact anybody who has 2 and 3 defensive players on him, it's not an easy thing. It's just not.
And Asian has battled multiple looks here all afternoon. He hits 2 of the 3 free throws, now 7 of 8 from the line. So even when a guy like him, I'm sure he'll tell you after this game, it was a little bit of an off game for him. Yet he's got 17 points, and he's going to hit the bench for the final time.
Well, he's got the ovation that he so deserves. He's had just an unbelievable career. And then the top 10 in scoring in the state, and just has put this team on his back, handled it with class, and just, he's everything you would want in a ball player. This is certainly, I know, he's going to be disappointed today, and rightfully so, but he can be super proud of how he's led this ball club and how he's represented his community.
Well, the fans here thought that John Bodie was pulling him out for that ovation, but in fact it's going to be an offense-defense sub. Asian has 4 fouls, so they don't want him to be in a spot to have to pick up that 5th.
He said he didn't quite understand it, when the basketball team got so popular, he'd walk around town and everybody knew him. It's a small community, but he goes, everybody wants to talk basketball now, and he loved it.
City of just over 2,000. Guard off the mark from 3. There's Dry Belbis, who's done some nice things here since he's checked in. Asian fighting through a triple team, and Asian will go back to the foul line. John Bodie took over this program 6 years ago, and the first thing he did was install a culture. It's got Central Noble here to the state championship, but Providence on the verge of their first title here from Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
You're good at basement basketball.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
These are the moments we live for, we celebrate, we must protect. This is what the IHSAA Foundation does every day. By providing scholarships to student athletes, developing coaches and athletic directors, recruiting and retaining high school officials, and awarding grants to IHSAA member schools. We can protect the future of high school sports for the next generation of Hoosiers. Will you join us? We need your help on our team. Donate today at ihsaafoundation.org.
This is your IHSAA. This is your state. This is your high school. This is your athletic association.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and we're here to make sure that all of this remains yours.
This is your state. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
Welcome back to the 2022 Boys Basketball State Championship presented by the Indiana Pacers and Indiana Fever. We take a look at Central Noble, who has reached historic heights this year out of Albion, Indiana, Northeast Indiana, and in the Northeast Corner Conference, about 150 miles northeast from Gainbridge Fieldhouse. So both these programs had a little bit of a trek to get here.
Well, you talked to Coach Bodie, and he talked about one of their nemesis has been Eastside. In fact, Eastside won that conference this year, and they'd only lost 2. He just felt like if he could beat the sectional, he could win. He had a shot going to the tournament, state tournament.
They took out Central Noble, number 2, number 4, and number 6 on their trip here. I'll tell you, the Providence of the toughness, I should say, of Providence has really shown in the tournament. They were not ranked. Ryan Miller said, look, we went to the tournament with a 15-6 record. That didn't really jump out to anybody. It's a good record, but you're used to seeing the 28-2 type records that Central Noble has. Playing their best ball at the best time, and quite literally in this tournament where they've played so well, this has to be what Ryan Miller would call their finest performance, not only of the season, but probably in school history.
Yeah, they had back-to-back losses, one against North Harrison and one against Browntown Central. Both of them had great records. And he said, it was 2 losses, but it were games that the team really came together and understood what the next level meant and what it would take to get there.
Well, they might not be here on this stage if it weren't for the man at the foul line now, Max Beatty, in a 1-point game in the final 40 seconds. Sealed the trip to state with a 3-pointer. It's over Eastern Hancock last weekend. They haven't asked as much of Beatty here today. 4 points. This backcourt for Providence, it's on the defensive end so relentless, and then on the offensive end so calm, so composed, so under control. It's a fascinating dynamic.
It really is. And during the tournament, which equals now, it was 5 games coming into the day, they only gave up an average of 35 points a game during that tournament run. So it's really no surprise how good that defense is today and was during that whole tournament run.
Central Noble has been held 16 points under their scoring average this season, one of the top 40 offenses in terms of points on the year. Isaiah Gard, who has checked in as John Bodie has emptied the bench.
Pat, what can you say about this young man with the ball right here? What a game he has played. He just started it off, and he's never let off this whole game. That being the key player for Providence, Casey Kalin. He has had a game of the lifetime. 21 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists for the junior. He's been off the charts for me.
Kalin with 21 points on 8 of 13 shooting here today. Well, these state championship games, of course, mean a ton for the kids, but for so many people as well. Mark Hopper, IHSAA Outstanding Official Award. He was given that. Paul Knighton, commissioner, at halftime. Talking a little bit with David George, who's a statistician on the Pacers crew. He also runs PR for the Indiana All-Star teams he made after his long career as a IHSAA ref. His first finals appearance. This means a lot to a lot of people, not just the kids.
Oh, no doubt. Let's give a shout out to the 3 officials here today. They have called an excellent, excellent game.
Scott Arthur, Timothy Cartwright, and Rob Couch.
These guys have called just a few games in their career. They are all been around. They're all phenomenal. Young officials learn from these guys. They're some of the best.
Well, Providence was brilliant from the start, tough through the finish, and for the first time in school history, the Providence Pioneers are 2A state champions.
Well, you just talk about earning a game. What a game plan. You know, we talked to Coach Miller, and he didn't want to tell us a whole lot. But you can see by his body language and the look in his eye, he felt pretty good about his team and what he thought they could accomplish.
And he, of course, has as much belief in his team and his program as anybody does. But there were a couple times where he admitted when we were talking to him, did I think we would make it here? I don't know.
Right.
Not only do they make it here, but just a masterclass from the Pioneers in the 2A state championship game. You know, he mentioned it a couple times. There's Coach Miller. We're probably the underdog. We know that.
Well, it may be one of the better defensive efforts in state tournament that we've seen. And I say that not just because of what they gave up defensively, but let's face it, this is a phenomenal Central Noble ball club who can put up tons and tons of points. And not only did they stop these guys, but they stopped Forest Park, Eastern Hancock, Linton Stockton, who's always here, it seems like. So they have really beat some really good ball clubs.
All right, let's send it now over to Jeremiah Johnson.
Relentless would be a way I would describe the Providence Pioneers. Ryan Miller is with me now. What led to that fast start, and how would you describe your team's effort?
Man, well, you know, we have a ton of respect for this Central Noble team. They've been an awesome team the whole season. So we knew we had to come ready to play from the start. You know, I talked to a few coaches in our area who have been fortunate enough to be at the state title game, and they said, you know, you got to come out ready right from the start. You know, be aggressive, play your game. Again, a ton of respect for these guys. They played a great game. There was no give up in Central Noble. Great squad. Congratulations to them on an awesome season.
You're a 1999 Providence graduate. To be the head coach, to bring this team here for the first time in boys basketball school history and to win this state championship, how does this hit you?
It hasn't sunk in yet, obviously, but I'm just so grateful and blessed to be a part of this awesome community we have, and to get to do this with boys that they've been about each other from the start, from day one when we came in here 3 years ago as a coaching staff, and they play for each other. They love each other, and we sure love them. Love my coaching staff as well, and our whole community. Good job, Providence. Way to be here. We love you.
That's Ryan Miller.
The Arthur L. Trester Mental Attitude Award is proudly presented by the Indiana Pacers and Indiana Fever, who are honored to support Indiana's game at all levels.
Presenting the Arthur L. Trester Mental Attitude Award on behalf of the IHSAA Executive Committee, please welcome from Delta High School, Mr. Chris Condler.
We would like to welcome Nolan Greenegg, Associate Director of Guest Experience for Pacer Sports and Entertainment, to assist with the presentation of the Arthur L. Trester Mental Attitude Award for Class 2A Boys Basketball. In addition to the award, the Indiana Pacers and Indiana Fever, presenting sponsors of IHSA Boys Basketball State Tournament, will award a $1,000 scholarship to the winner's school. On behalf of the IHSAA, please join us in saying thank you to the Indiana Pacers and Indiana Fever for their generous support of student athletes and high school basketball in Indiana. After we announce the name of the recipient, we invite his parents to join him on the arena floor. The recipient of this award, while a student in grade 12, was nominated by his principal and coach, excelled in mental attitude, athletic ability, scholarship, and leadership during his 4 years of high school and was selected by members of the IHSAA Executive Committee. The winner of the 2022 Arthur L. Trester Mental Attitude Award for Class 2A Boys Basketball is Cade Carver of Providence High School.
We talk about selflessness. Cade Carver played 26 minutes here today and did not take a shot. He had 5 assists, 3 rebounds, tremendous defense. The 3 points that he had came from the foul line. The toughness and the selflessness of Cade Carver, who's the Mental Attitude Award winner.
Yeah, one of the really fine seniors on this ball club. He's super great in the classroom. He's a fine young man. He's a leader. He's everything you want your son to be or classmate to be, and just well-deserved.
There's Jeremiah Johnson, and he is with Mr. Carver.
Cade Carver is a captain, led Providence with 5 assists, knows that defense is his role, did not attempt a shot, but it's that teamwork, that sportsmanship that helped Providence win a state championship. What was your role on this team?
Exactly what you said. Come in, bring leadership, get others the ball, get them shots, and just be a leader out there on the floor.
I know you played a tough schedule, but you lost some games in the middle of the regular season. How did you and the fellow seniors rally everyone together to make a run like this?
I think those losses played a really big role in what we've done this whole postseason. I think they really pushed us to keep going and want it more because we learned even more by losing in those big games. So, there's some really big motivation there in those games.
Cade ranks 12th in his class at Providence. Dad, Brent, I know this has to be a proud moment for you. How would you describe watching this game and then seeing your son get this award?
It was nerve-wracking. We're obviously very proud of Cade, but I think with the theme of the team was we, not me. And we're very proud of him, the young man that he is. But it's his teammates, it's his friends in the stands, and it's all the families that are a part of the Providence community that have helped us to get to this point. So thank you.
Cade is headed to Indiana University to study Intelligent Systems Engineering. Congratulations.
A game-high 5 assists for Cade Carver. A 4.4 GPA. As Jeremiah noted there, headed to Indiana University to study Intelligent Systems Engineering. And he really kind of embodies what this Providence team and this Providence season was all about.
And what it stands out and tells every young man or young woman is you don't have to be the best shooter on the ball club to have certainly a big, important role. He talked about taking pride in setting the other players up, rebounding, being a leader. Those are pieces that are just as important as the guy who scored 20-plus points today.
As we noted, he did not take a shot in 26 minutes. Cade Carver, his impact was certainly felt, and you can see what this moment is like for Ryan, the 1999 Providence graduate. He went to University of Louisville and got his MD. But he said the itch to coach and the itch to come back to Providence, where he played, it never went away. And here he is in just his 3rd year leading this group to history.
I asked him, I said, which is harder, you think, being an MD or a coach? He goes, the coach. He goes, the challenges are relentless. He goes, but I wouldn't do anything else. He loves every second of it. He talked about when he took the job at Providence, how he got the right guys around him, and that was so important to him to really bring what he needed to bring a state-level type ball club and put it together.
And this is a Providence team who's gotten it done with depth all season long. They've had 8 different players score today, led by the 21 from Casey Kalen. Kalen with 9 in the first half and with 12 points in the second half. Put up just a tremendous performance, 3 assists, 5 rebounds as well. Really, it was, I think, the 3-point shooting early for Providence, which really set the tone.
Yeah, it was the difference. they got the really good three-point shooting and then backed it up with that relentless defense. And then they were able to take away the three, which I thought would be an advantage for Central Noble today. But it's not an advantage when the other team really makes it difficult, and Providence did just that.
Well, that's what's so interesting about a game like this one. If you're Providence and if you're Ryan Miller, you came into this one saying, okay, we have to at least compete on the glass, but we know that we are outsized by our opponent. This is a very, very good three-point shooting team that we're taking on. And those two areas, not only did Providence hang around, they did it even better.
Yeah.
Just so impressive to watch their group, who has, as Ryan Miller puts it, our tallest guy is 6'4", and that's on a good day, have the rebounding performance they had, +6 on the glass.
Yeah, just an amazing performance. I want to say something about that gentleman right there, John Bodie. You know, he took over that Central Noble position, and they hadn't won anything for a long, long time. And he said he had to make some really hard decisions, wasn't overly popular, but he just knew in his heart that the community would support him and his administrative supported him and got the players to believe in what he wanted, that he could turn it around. And while I know he and they are disappointed not being state championship, when you have done what he has done, taken they didn't even have winning seasons, and he turned this program into something they can be super proud of today here.
You'd be hard-pressed to find a coach and a school who has accomplished more when you consider where they were 6-7 years ago to now. Bodie said he came in and installed kind of a culture revolution 6 years ago. So we're going to stop thinking about this as me. We're going to start thinking about this as we. And one thing that he was so impressed about, look, when you have a guy like Connor Esesian who scores 27 points per game, you don't want to hold him back. You want to allow him to have those type of performances. It's one of the biggest reasons the Cougars are here. But how everyone else has watched Connor get all that spotlight and dealt with it so well. They've had no issues with it. They have been consummate teammates. And I think everybody finding their role on this group is why, while they would like to be wearing those blue medals around their neck, it's why they have medals here in the first place.
Yeah, there is absolutely no shame in what they have accomplished at all. In fact, it's quite the story. And really, it's really Indiana high school basketball. Small communities, haven't won for a while. They go in, turn it around, and make the big trip to Indianapolis. They should be proud of themselves.
That said, what a player that Wisconsin is getting here in the season.
My. Yeah, he is the real deal. And he got a lot of attention today, but he literally at times has put phenomenal numbers, together to help get his ball club where it was at today. He's the real deal. He didn't have the game that he wanted today, but that doesn't take anything from what he can do.
Still managed 18 points, 3 assists, and 4 rebounds in a season where he scored 27 points per game. Let's go back onto the floor with Jeremiah Johnson.
John, I think from the start of the second quarter on, you outscored Providence, but it's difficult at this stage in a game like this to fall behind by that much early. What did you see in that first quarter?
We talked about coming out aggressive and setting the tone, and they did. They were more aggressive than us, more physical than us. We didn't handle it well the first quarter. It got slightly better, but that was the difference in the game, was their physicality out-scrapped us, out-hustled us tonight.
We've talked on the broadcast about the transformation of the program. When you took over, I'm not sure if this was a goal. I remember seeing you here in a fundraising game. And now you're here in the game everyone pays to watch.
Yeah, we've this senior class has done a great job of leaving it better than they found it. I feel like we've done the same thing in my 6 years at Central Noble, kind of turned the community onto basketball, and we're definitely going to leave it better than we found it.
Connor probably wishes he could do a few things differently, but credit their defense for what they did against him. But how will he go down in Central Noble and in Indiana high school basketball history?
Everybody knows he's top 10 scoring in the state history-wise, and he's left his mark on Central Noble. A lot of kids in our program look up to him, and hopefully they decide, I'm going to do the same thing work ethic-wise that he's done to become that type of player.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Jeremiah and John Bodie, certainly thank you. And Jeremiah hit nail on the head there. His group outscored Providence 40-37 in those final 3 quarters. That first quarter really was the difference.
Boy, I've done a lot of these like you, and I don't know that I've seen a team come off the bus any more prepared than Providence was. And you kind of thought, well, teams put together big runs. It happens all the time. But they just never look back. They got that big run, supplemented it with defense, and how about on the glass? I would have never thought I would see them win on the glass.
As the manager, which we were told his story by Jeremiah Johnson a little bit earlier, an inspiring one. He got his way onto the floor on senior night as these Providence Pioneers get their blue state championship medals.
You know, both these coaches, Pat, talked about how important it was for the administration, the ADs, everybody to be on the same page. He says without that, it is so tough to get here, and it's even tougher to win. But both these coaches, who I'd want my son to play for any day of the week, just could not compliment all the people surrounding them and how they supported the team, how they supported him and the coaches. And how about that young guy right there? And he is young. Boy, what a job he has done at Providence. Wow.
And he's getting quite the ovation from the Providence faithful who have come out in numbers. 110 miles south of Indianapolis, right on that Indiana-Kentucky border. Fans from Clarksville, Indiana have shown up here for Providence High School history. They are crowned state champions for the first time.
From Knightstown High School, Mr.
Really, Providence, in a lot of ways, embodies what we're seeing from a bigger perspective this weekend here. How cool is it that 6 of the 8 schools are here for the very first time?
I just think that makes it so special. I would give anything if just one of these schools would loan me that trophy just one time to put in my house. I just think it is the coolest thing ever. Man, you dream about those things.
That thing's going to look great in the trophy display case at Providence High School. The Pioneers, their 21st victory is a state championship. We'll be back with post-game coverage brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
Ivy Plus helps students navigate the cost of college in 2 ways: tuition and textbooks. Ivy Plus Tuition simplifies what students pay by charging the same tuition rate if they're enrolled in 12 or more credits. You pay the same amount whether you take 12, 15, or even 18 credits, so you can graduate faster while saving money. You'll save even more with Ivy Plus textbooks. Best of all, students in the fall 21 and spring 22 will receive their required textbooks at no additional cost.
In addition to Pacers basketball, my family's a big fan of 2 things: rescue dogs and great Connecticut water. So when we adopted Walter to join Bailey, he too gets his bowl of water right from our Connecticut K5 drinking water station. We take our water quality seriously, which is why we also have a whole home water treatment system. Improve your water like we do. Visit ConnecticutIndy.com for your free in-home water test. Connecticut, official sponsor of the Indiana Pacers.
The 112th Annual IHSAA Boys Basketball State Finals are brought to you by the Indiana Pacers and Indiana Fever, presenting sponsor of the IHSAA State Basketball Tournament, and honored to support Indiana's game at all levels. And for the following, Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, presenting sponsor of the IHSAA Champions Network. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, stop knocking on wood. Forte Sports Medicine, the orthopedic specialists. By Wilson Sporting Goods, the official ball of the IHSAA. Menards, save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. Indiana Careers in Construction, built to succeed. Ivy Tech Community College, proud supporter of the IHSAA Sportsmanship Program. Reach your goal at Ivy Tech. Indiana Members Credit Union, keeping it simple. Connecticut, life is better with Connecticut water. Franciscan Health, inspiring health. The Indianapolis Colts for the shoe. Dellin Automotive, discover the Dellin difference. And by Bally Sports Indiana, broadcast home of the IHSAA Champions Network.
Two champions have been crowned, two to go. North Davies in the 1A state championship game, and the Providence Pioneers are champions here in 2A. Time now for the Indiana Members Credit Union highlight of the game. Indiana Members Credit Union keeping it simple, and this play right here, Jan, Kalen and one, really an embodiment of what Providence was able to do on offense in the half court.
Yeah, well said. He just led this team from the opening, brought it in every way, leadership, difficulty of play, great vision, just over and over. A phenomenal effort by Casey Kalen, one of our players of the game. And you know what the big deal is? Just a junior.
He had 21 points here today, and he's now got an interview with Jeremiah Johnson.
21 of Providence, 62 points, but I feel like it's only appropriate on a day like this to talk about defense first. That's what Coach Miller is emphasizing from day one. How did you hold them in check today?
Our coaches gave us a great defensive game plan, and we just have such great communication and team chemistry that we just stuck to it and played hard, played tough, do what we always do, and got the job done.
As for the offense, it feels like you're one of those teams on any given night. Anybody can be the guy. How are you the guy today?
I think the ball just found me. I made a couple shots early, got it going. Everybody just played a big role, and they made some big shots, and I think overall that we just played confident on offense, and that's what helped us out tonight.
You're kind of living every high school athlete's dream, winning a state championship as a shortstop, as a sophomore, now as a junior on the basketball court. You're not done, I guess.
Not done. We got one more or two more baseball seasons, I guess, one more basketball season. Hopefully get some more, but it takes a lot of hard work, and we'll keep putting that in. Hopefully we'll get some more.
I'll leave with this. Pat and Jan were talking during the broadcast, saying maybe some college recruiters or coaches might be watching today, watching you. I said, you want to play baseball or basketball in college? You said basketball, so state your case.
Yeah, I think I'm just a great team player. I love to win. I'll do whatever it takes to get the job done, and I'll play for my guys, play for my coaches, listen to what they say, and be the guy that they want.
There you go. You listen to it. You follow orders well also.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I think there's a lot of coaches very impressed with that young man. Hey, a reminder, we're only halfway done here at 6 p.m. Beech Grove. We'll take on Mishawaka Marion for the 3A state championship. Following that game, it's Cathedral against Chesterton for the 4A state championship game. And please note these games are on Bally Sports Indiana Extra. So consult your program guide for the correct channel in your area. Jan, it's been a pleasure as always.
I'll tell you, what a great game. Both games really, really good. Tonight might even be better.
North Davies is a champion. Providence is a champion. 2 more games to go throughout the day at beautiful Gainbridge Fieldhouse. So thanks to our entire crew, my partner Jan Bozier, Jeremiah Johnson on the sidelines, and the entire IHSAA Champions Network crew. I'm Pat Boylan. It's the Providence Pioneers who are 2A state champions on Bally Sports Indiana.